Arizona is pro sports retirement.
You had no chance with Kelly Kapowski.
We don't make mistakes. It's happy little accidents.
You only live once.
Run wild on you.
Who would have seen this coming? Oh yeah, it was Rank on tackling dummies.
What's cracking, everybody? James Coe here with you. This is not Adam Rank. It is not. No, it's not. It's MG, my guy, Marcus Grant, stepping in once again for the aforementioned Adam Rank, who is unavailable for week number 2 in a row. But I think he will be back next week. But in the interim, we've got MG. Look, we had such a great time last week. I was like, hey, man, we got to run this back. It's MG, my guy, Marcus Grant, and we had a great time and glad that you could join the program once again.
Glad to be back. Yeah, it's always nice to be invited places. It's even nicer to be invited back because that means you didn't make an ass of yourself the first time. So yeah, it's nice to be back here again.
There you go. I love it, man. Hey, listen, we got a great show in front of us here today. What are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about hot sauces for some reason, just because I was thinking about this. I was looking at my hot sauce collection in my fridge, and I'm like, you know what? I got some good-ass hot sauces, but how do I rank these bad boys? And we will talk about that. What about rookie Terrace Marshall rocking Greg Olsen's 88? Should he know better? Should the team have said something? What do we do about that jersey number there in Carolina? And then Tom Brady endorsing Subway, which is just like okay, that's fine. Sure. And then we will talk about, again, what's a product that, again, you would take the bag on, but you'd feel a little dirty about doing so. But we will start the show with an interesting story. I know it's been out for a few days, but God, I love it, man. How about Aaron Rodgers? Mike Florio throwing out the possibility that Aaron Rodgers could potentially use the COVID opt-out to opt out of the season, kind of sort of using this as like a negotiating tactic, a ploy, if you will. MG, my guy, Marcus Grant. I don't know. What do you think about this move that Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk says could potentially be used? Probably not, but might be used as maybe as a leveraging tactic by Aaron Rodgers, opting out of the 2021 season.
Well, first off, because I am a fan of Aaron Rodgers as a player, and I am sort of indifferent to the Green Bay Packers as a franchise. So because of that, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Like, I know Packer fans, I know they're annoyed and they're irritated and they just kind of want this to come to an end. I'm amused by it. I think the only person who might be more amused would be Adam Rank as a Bears fan, sort of watching the Packers in disarray at this moment. I think it's potentially genius if he decides to use this thing, right? I mean, right? I agree. Let's use the loopholes. Like, how often do teams do this with players where they find little loopholes or they find little outs to, cut a salary, not pay salary, try to find ways to get guys to take pay cuts, what have you. Power to the players, man. Like, if this is a way for him to kind of get a little leverage, either to force his way out of Green Bay, to, maybe just not take as many hits for a year, I'm totally in favor of it. So I'm very curious to see what happens. I don't know what he's going to do, but I'm very curious to watch how this turns out.
Well, the one thing is that you and I are both very, player-friendly analysts out there. You know what I mean? It's like we never take the side of the corporation. Like, why would you do that? And yet fans do this all the time. Like, oh, just go to work. You signed a contract. It's like, come on, bro. Like, what? Okay, I don't understand. Anyways, but no, I absolutely love it. You mentioned it's a very it would be kind of a savvy move for Aaron Rodgers to pull this off because it would ultimately save him, maybe $20 million. Look, if he walked away from the game, he'd have to pay back, as they reported, some of his signing bonus money. He'd lose out, obviously on some salary this year. But if he opted out using COVID, and I'm using Eric with the COVID as an excuse, I love that. So smart. And it would be someone like Aaron Rodgers who would kind of sort of use the machinations of this, lever to kind of sort of ease his way into something else. That's what I kind of sort of like. Now, the deadline for it is absolutely coming down to it, right? July 2nd is the deadline. I guess I'll put it to you, MG, like, what do you think the possibility is that he uses this as a leverage, lever to kind of sort of get himself out of Green Bay?
Well, first thing, I like you talking about like the money that he'd potentially forfeit doing this. Like, as a not rich person, like that seems like a lot to me. I mean, it is a lot of money, right? Especially as a not rich person, that's a lot of money.
A lot of money, dog.
But I also do feel like, if you're Aaron Rodgers, like, does that money mean that much to you at this point? Like, you've made a lot in your career. And maybe it does. Like, I don't know. Like, again, not being rich, like, I don't know how rich people think. Maybe he still wants that money and wants to try to see if he can collect it any way he can. But as for whether he's going to, I think he will. I have been of the opinion this whole time that the possibility that Aaron Rodgers doesn't play this year, or maybe even just retires in general, I feel like it's stronger than a lot of people are willing to give it credit for. And I think I have always maintained that football people can't completely wrap their brains around the idea of a football player not wanting to play football anymore. Like, especially while that
like
player
Andrew Luck.
Right. I mean, people are still kind of scratching their heads about that, right? Like, as long as a player is still in relatively good health and relatively young enough to be successful, football people can't just grasp that a guy might just say, you know what, I think I'm done. And Aaron Rodgers has essentially accomplished everything you can. Like, yes, he probably should have more Super Bowl titles than he does. Okay, fine. But he has won. He's won a Super Bowl. He's got MVPs. He's got records. He's got endorsements. He's got money. I mean, he really has accomplished pretty much everything you can on a football field. And so, if I'm him and I'm looking around and I am getting a little bit older and maybe things aren't exactly the way I like them, like, what's the point of forcing the issue? Like, not everybody's Tom Brady, who's just going to be like a machine until till the wheels fall off. Some guys just want to enjoy their life. And like, I'm seeing Instagram videos from like Miles Teller's wife where like Aaron Rodgers and his fiance are like chilling in Hawaii, like living their best lives. I'm like, I could either do this and chill on a beach in like Kauai, or I can go to Wisconsin and like sweat through 2-a-days in the summer and then
freeze my ass off in the winter.
Freeze my ass off in the winter and have to deal with like ridiculous pass rushers trying to like, rattle my bones 17 weeks out of the year. Like, I think that choice is more real than a lot of people want to give it credit for.
I totally agree with you 100%. But the one thing I don't understand about the retirement chatter, well, first of all, I would love to kind of sort of see him be like, you know what, dude, screw you guys. I'm absolutely going to pull this COVID, card out of my hat and just, I'm sitting out 2020. Because let's be real here. Even if he sat out, there's no shortage of suitors that would want him back for 2022. Like, that wouldn't depress his market value at all. You know what I'm saying?
Tim Tebow got a job, and that dude hadn't been in the league in how long? Right?
That's right. That's absolutely right. But I will also say this. I don't understand. Why don't all these players do the Jalen Ramsey thing? Like, you don't need to hold out. Just show up and be like, yo, little tightness back here.
Just not
a
gonna
little
practice.
tightness. I don't know. Like, I don't know what happened. Maybe I stepped out the shower wrong. I don't know. It just hurts, And it's like, I mean, that's the thing. And it's like, oh, then he gets traded and magically it's healed up. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way to do it. Like, if you're trying to play the game, bro. Like, it's all good. Like, I mean, they allow for this is what I'm saying. Like, if Jalen Ramsey can do it, why can't everyone do this?
I mean, look at Antonio Brown. I mean, look, he had other issues, but I mean, he had cryogenically frozen feet and bad shoes and a helmet he couldn't use until the Raiders got rid of him. Then suddenly all those problems like cleared themselves up.
Exactly.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Ready to go.
That's what I don't get, man. Like, all these players, like, it's built into that mechanism, man. Like, it's all good. Like, hey, listen, if you got a little back tightness, not going to show up on an MRI. It's not going to show up anywhere, but you got a little back tightness. It's all good. You want to sit out these practices. No problem. And the thing is too, this is the thing with the whole Jalen Ramsey thing. Everyone knew he was doing that. The owner knew he was doing that. Shad Khan's like, yo, come on, bro. Like, we know what you're doing. This is like when you call in sick. Like, it's like you went too hard the night before, but you call in sick. Or even better, or even better, when you call in because you're about to go out. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I got this long ass Vegas trip, boy. I better call my manager right now, get on that horn, just be like, yo, oh man, I don't know what happened, man, but I got a stomach bug. I got that stomach bug. I'm out.
So you're telling me it's not that the back specialists in Los Angeles are just superior, like significantly superior to back specialists in Jacksonville. That's not what you're saying to me?
That's nope. The hamstring did not magically heal itself on the flight over from Duval to LAX. Did not happen. Did not happen. Anyways,
for Rodgers though, like, I mean, do you think he plays, or is he the next host of Jeopardy? Like, what is the range of outcomes for him?
Well, I think you hit it, man. Like, first of all, I would love to see LeVar Burton as the host of Jeopardy, because they need it. You know, like, he's a perfect, like, brand fit, all of that stuff. Like, he loves the show. Like, give it to LeVar.
You and I are close enough in age that, like, he introduced a lot of us to reading, man. Like, reading Rainbow. Like, this seems like a perfect transition. You know?
Exactly. But you know, if there's a place I would like to see Rodgers go, and again, I think, you know, I'm not a fan. I'm a Rodgers guy, right? Like, he went to Cal, you know, it's all that stuff. So I'm a Rodgers guy. I don't care what happens. I'm actually hoping the best for Rodgers. Okay. And for him, it's like, I'm just tired of Green Bay's nonsense. I am. You know, it's like, oh, Rodgers not happy. So you know what we're going to do? We're not going to sign nobody. We're not going to spend early draft capital on anyone that can help you. We're going to get another secondary guy. We're going to get O-linemen. It's like, okay, how much longer do you want 35, 36, 37, 38-year-old Aaron Rodgers to carry the offense? And like, I love Green Bay bros jumping in saying, well, you know, Green Bay had a top 10 offense last year. No crap, dog. It's because of Aaron Rodgers. Like, if you didn't have Aaron Rodgers, you think you have a top 15 offense? Do you think you have a top 20 offense without Aaron Rodgers? Let's say you had Jordan Love and Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. You legitimately think you're going to be anywhere close to the top 10 in offense. So, no, it's like, I'm over it. You know, it's like, give this guy some support. Like, we're watching in every other city. If Rodgers is going to go to a place, I actually would like to see him go to Denver. Denver has shown historically that they are willing to go all out. And it doesn't matter how small the window is. It could be 2 years, 3 years, whatever. They're going to sell out to win Super Bowls in that window. And I feel like if he went there, and you're talking about a pass catching trio of Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, and Jerry Jeudy, oh baby, Aaron Rodgers is going to be cooking. Aaron Rodgers would be cooking. So that's one destination that I would kind of like to see Aaron Rodgers end up in.
I think that's the best one, though. Is like, as you go through all the teams, either they are pretty set at quarterback, or at least they feel like they've got their guy and are willing to give him a shot. Or it's places where, okay, maybe they're not sold on the quarterback, but there are also really no pieces for Rodgers. Like, Aaron Rodgers is not going to go somewhere like, say, I don't know, Detroit, right, where he pushes aside another Cal quarterback, right? Like, right. He's not going to go to Detroit because it's like, well, they're so far away from winning. Like, why would you spend the last years of your career doing that? I'd say the same thing for, like, I don't know, looking around at, you know, Houston, right? Like, they've got quarterback issues because we don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't look good for Deshaun Watson, but at the same time, that franchise is in complete disarray. So Denver is sort of the best option out there. And by the way, you know, I know the Packers are sort of trying to, you know, pretend that they are not perturbed by this whole thing. But if they really weren't worried, like, they would have just like turned over to Jordan Love and been like, all right, here we go, let's go. Like, let's think about this, right? When they moved on from Brett Favre, they felt okay. Like, they felt like, okay, you know, we got a guy we think can step in and be that dude. So, like, you know, after a couple years of Brett, you know, doing Brett and like, I'm going to retire. Maybe I'm not. I'm going to retire. No, just kidding. Like, eventually the Packers are like, bye. Like, we got a dude. Like, they're not doing that with Aaron Rodgers because they're not sold that Jordan Love is ready to step in and be that dude, which sort of makes them look bad because they spent, a first-round pick on the guy.
They moved up to go get this dude. What? Like, what are you guys doing?
So, like, that you know, is sort of their bad if he's not ready to go. But obviously, there's some nervousness there, man. There's some puckering going on in Green Bay because they don't know if they're ready for the transition yet.
Yeah, you know, the one other location I think actually would be a great fit for him. Well, there's two places, and they're both in the AFC East. I mean,
Okay.
can you imagine Aaron Rodgers in New England? Oh, baby. That would the entire football world would be so mad. Could you imagine?
I
Could
mean,
you imagine?
I
They'd
mean,
be
look,
so mad.
I was upset when I thought Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be the next big thing and take over from Tom Brady. So yeah, if Aaron Rodgers went, and it really, I like I said, I started this by saying I like Aaron Rodgers as a player. Like that might change if he were to line up in New England. Like,
right. I know.
I might have to change my
Empire
tune about
straight
that.
up, dude. Evil Empire straight up. But but the other team that I was thinking would actually be a really great fit for him would actually be Miami. You give him, which I believe they have the pieces to be a really great, maybe not top 5, but certainly in that ballpark defense. They've got certainly the pieces to make that work. Then you add Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle to an already, pretty good secondary receiver in Devontae Parker. It's like, hello, give Rodgers that roster, man. Like, we're off and cooking, baby. You know what I mean? So I feel like Denver's probably, for me, actually even a little bit even better of a situation than the AFC West, where you'd have to see Patrick Mahomes twice, right. Justin Herbert. It's a little bit of a tougher division, all due respect to, Derek Carr, but just a little bit tougher division there in the AFC West versus New England, which is, again, kind of sort of trying to find themselves, post Tom Brady. The Jets are still the Jets. I'm not a big Zach Wilson guy. And I know that Josh Allen is there, and the Buffalo Bills, they're legit and they're nasty, but every division's got one kind of like dog in it. And so for Miami to kind of be that second dog in that division, that would be nice. I think that would actually be a really nice soft landing spot for Aaron Rodgers. Will Miami do it? No, they won't, because I don't know why they're going to try to force Tua down our throats for some reason. But
are you not a Tua fan?
No. Absolutely no.
Wow.
Maybe this is the hottest take, but I'm like, if I'm Miami, you have a great defense. You invested in your wide receivers. Keep Fitzmagic and just run. Like, try to win this year. If Tua it develops for another year, okay, that's fine. But like, he doesn't give you the window to win in 2020. Period. Period.
I guess I still want to give him a shot. Like last year, I felt like there were so many things working against him, coming off a major injury, COVID year, on a super short leash. Like every time he made a mistake, like here comes Fitzmagic warming up the arm. Like I want to see him get a shot. Like I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think he's going to be like a super stud or whatever, but like I'm not willing to just pull the plug on him yet. Although that being said, if Aaron Rodgers is potentially available, it's hard to not do that.
You do that.
It's hard to not do that.
I'm very confused by Miami. I really am, and this is totally off script here, but they're a team that is absolutely built to win now. And they're kind of trying to run out a super inexperienced quarterback and say, well, Tua's our guy, as if we didn't see him play in 2020. Like, no, we saw him play. He wasn't good. And I'm not trying to sit here and tell you he's a bust and that he'll never be good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's not good enough to win in 2021. That's what I'm saying. And again, you want to develop him by all means, but Ryan Fitzpatrick is the perfect quarterback to take you to the promised land. If you want to do that with this collection of receivers, with this defense, they're built to win right now. Tua's not that guy. Tua's not that guy. That's why I don't understand. They should be chasing down, guys like Matt Ryan. They should be chasing guys down like Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, before he got traded to the Rams. Like, these are dudes that they should have absolutely been trying to, wrangle and bring into the fold.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick can lead you to the promised land, or he could make a left turn and you end up in Death Valley somewhere. Like,
It's true.
There's, that's part of it. So I don't know. All right, so you say Tua's not good enough to get you to the playoffs. Is Terrace Marshall good enough to rock number 88 in Carolina?
I heard about this, MG.
Yeah, Greg Olsen's number.
I mean, he's a rookie. And Greg Olsen, he retired, and, it's not like Carolina retired his number. As a matter of fact, Carolina has only retired one number. But golly, man, I just feel like I don't know. I feel like Carolina, maybe somebody there should have been like, Rook, maybe put the arm around the shoulder, be like, hey, listen, I know you wore the 88 in college, my man, but let's wear the 87. And by the way, you're a wide receiver now.
You just wear 8 if you wanted to.
Just wear 8. Just wear 8. And like be like, yo, like I love Kobe. I'm rocking the 8. Do you need to? I mean, it's like, do you need the 88? It's like Michael Irvin was so long ago. It's like no one's wearing the 80s now. You know what I mean?
Like Dez wore 88. Like I feel like Terrace Marshall is more of the Dez generation than the Michael Irvin generation.
Good call. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess this begs the question though. Like, Greg Olsen was a very good player, right? And he was certainly one of the best players that the Panthers have had in their franchise history. But like, was he that good within the context of just the overall NFL that he gets that sort of deference? Or is it just like, hey, shout out to Greg Olsen, I'm gonna wear 88. I respect you, bro. Like was he good enough to get that level of so like as an example, right? Like Trey Lance said he's going to wear number 5 in San Francisco. And then I heard a report that was like, Jeff Garcia gave his blessing. And I'm like, I didn't think we needed to ask Jeff Garcia. Like, okay. I didn't know 5 was sacred. It wasn't like
Garcia.
Right? Like I didn't know it was sacred in San Francisco. It's not like Trey Lance wanted to roll in and wear like 16 like Joe Montana, or he wanted to be 8 like Steve Young.
Oh my God.
There are more people that have Kaepernick jerseys than Jeff Garcia jersey, right? I'm like, why did we need Jeff Garcia's permission for Trey Lance to wear number 5? And like Greg Olsen, I will say Greg Olsen was a better player than Jeff Garcia, but still, like, I still think he's sort of on that threshold where we don't necessarily like we can acknowledge him or whatever, but I don't think we need to necessarily ask permission for somebody to wear 88. I don't know, that's just me.
So I looked it up, right? So I guess Greg Olsen told the Charlotte Observer, quote, "I'll be honest, I had mixed feelings about it, but then he went on to say, I didn't want the kid to feel any pressure from me. That was his number in college. I'm glad he's going to wear it, and hopefully he's a great player. I have no ill will." I love the fact that Greg Olsen just lied, but that's fine. like I love the fact that he's like, I had mixed feelings about it. Well, actually, now that this is on record, I actually don't have any mixed feelings about it. I'm actually okay with it. It's like, no, dude, your initial response was you had mixed feelings about it, which means you had mixed feelings about it. You can't then just turn around and say, no, actually, I'm good with it. It's like, no, we get it. It's like,
you can't just back out of it. So I'm going to go, here's the thing. So now I'm looking this up, right? Greg Olsen wasn't even 88 in college. He was 82. So it's not like you have some lifelong attachment to this number.
That's interesting. By the way, other, key Panthers, like you mentioned Jeff Garcia, he's not like this is the thing with the Panthers though. Like they're not the Niners, right? Like no disrespect to Carolina, but like, come on, it's like, you don't have that storied, franchise type, history. It's just not there. Like this is a relatively new franchise. They're an expansion team, whatever, back from the 90s. They don't have any quote unquote legends. But if they were like the Cowboys and just putting everybody up in the Ring of Honor or whatever it is, like New England is notorious for putting all these dudes up in the Ring of Honor or whatever, right? Like you would think that Greg Olsen is in that mix, right? Like it's like Steve Smith is certainly there. Luke Kuechly. I think Thomas Davis is somebody. Julius Peppers. I'm kind of sort of on the fence about Jake Delhomme. He did take him to a Super Bowl, so maybe he's in there too. Cam Newton certainly in the Ring of Honor when his playing days are done, if they ever do such a thing. But golly, man, Greg Olsen's got to be somewhere in that mix, no?
He's definitely, I think if they were to do a Ring of Honor or something like that, Greg Olsen definitely gets in. I guess this is where you sort of run into this issue of like retiring numbers or how do you honor people? Like you can just put their name up at a picture or whatever. If you want to do a statue in front of the stadium, if they were that great, that's fine. Whatever. That's your choice. But like retiring numbers get you into a weird area, right? Because like, and this isn't football at all, but like, I think about the Yankees, right? Like the Yankees have a bunch of retired numbers to the point that like, people started joking that they're just gonna have letters on the back of their jersey, like now playing second base, number double A, like whatever, something
number
like
B.
That. Right? Exactly. Like I feel like if you can make it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, then you're eligible to get your number retired. After that, like, I don't know, you maybe start to run into some issues. Like, let's just find a way to honor them. And if you weren't like an all-time great, then like, hey, somebody can just wear your number. Like, and that's fine. Like, maybe there's a gap. Maybe you have a statute of limitations. Like, you got to wait 10 years after the person's gone. Then
right.
88's back in circulation again or something. Exactly. Like, I don't know, but I feel like there's got to be a happy medium.
Two things. First of all, I wish they're allowing these guys to wear single digits now, which is great. I don't understand what took them so long to make that happen. The NFL is so weird. But it's like, that would be great. Like, you know how like when you watch street ball, videos, like old school, what were those things? And one mixtapes. Yeah. And guys had the craziest numbers, it's like, oh, here he is wearing the 110 or whatever. Yeah. Like they wore their area codes or whatever. Like, you can have like, oh, starting at wide receiver, Terrace Marshall Pie, it's like, it'd be great.
That sounds like some like old school XFL, like the original XFL sort of
thing. Yeah.
I mean, the league that gave us Hate Me, right, would do something like, put like, pie or something on the back of a jersey.
Square root of 2. It's like, all right, cool. Let's do it. But by the way, the other thing I should say is the only number Carolina has retired, by the way, is number 51 for Sam Mills. He was a linebacker for them, didn't play very many seasons, but he was also a coach. Why did they retire that number? He coined that phrase, keep pounding, and he passed away from cancer. So that's why they put a statue of him out front. They retired that number 51, and it's the only number in the Panthers franchise that has been retired, by the way. Okay. The man who has been defying retirement, though, certainly is Tom Brady. And he is, according to the Sports Business Journal, going to be endorsing MG Subway, despite, according to the report, having never been inside a Subway. In the commercial, he's never going to hold or touch a Subway sandwich. And Subway's giving him the bag.
They just want his face and name attached to
it. I mean, this is the same guy, MG. He's built this whole lifestyle brand, the TB12 method. This is also the same company in Subway whose bread was ruled not bread by an Irish court because it had too much sugar.
Mats? I thought it was like made out of yoga mats or something like
that. No. They put it like that's a Subway's running across a lot of issues here. That was a different story. God. They use some kind of chemical that is also used in yoga mats to whiten their flour or something. But an Irish court deemed that their bread had too much sugar, and they deemed that it was a cake. So this is. I know that they try to do this whole healthy alternative thing, and to a degree you can make it work there if you wanted to go for healthier options at Subway.
But who does that? Like if you're going to Subway, like are you getting the healthy sandwich? No,
I'm getting the spicy Italian.
I'm getting like the meatball with extra cheese.
Right.
Yeah, whatever.
Exactly.
Right. Come on.
So here's the thing, right? Like Tom Brady's obviously going to collect that check. Like it's all good. Like first of all, I'm not hating on that. And let me just tell you straight out the gates, I would sell out in a heartbeat. I would sell, boy. Let me tell. I would sell out in a minute if they wanted to give me that.
As your normal co-host Adam Rank would say, it's not selling out; it's buying in.
It's very true, but we all know. You got to think too, though. Like I know Tom Brady's collecting that check, but part of him had to have died a little bit inside, right? Like he's talking about like avocado ice cream and whatnot. Like a little bit of him must be like, this is kind of gross. No.
I mean, you would think so, right? So this is a man who says he had never had a strawberry until like he was like well into being a grown up, which by the way, I'm calling BS on that, right? Like I'm calling BS on that because Tom Brady grew up in San Mateo, California, right? He is like an hour and a half away from the city of Watsonville, which has a very giant and very popular strawberry festival every year. So how somehow you're gonna tell me a strawberry just never made its way into Tom Brady's orbit? As it like, I'm calling crap on that. But yeah,
I mean, because it's not like exotic.
No,
like, it's not like oh, I've never had jackfruit or I've never had dragon fruit or something. It's like
it's a strawberry, man.
It's a strawberry. Like what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, but here's the thing, like, yeah, I guess even Tom Brady kind of needs to get the bag, right? I mean, like, he's not the breadwinner in his house, right? Like I don't think he is the highest earner in his own home. So like, this is his way to contribute.
That's true. That's his way to contribute. That's awesome. All right, so let me ask you this. Again, you and I think are simpatico. We're taking the bag.
Yes.
People, we're taking the bag. Okay. If somebody asked me to sell out, I'd sell out in a heartbeat, boy. But there are certain products I would imagine that you would take the bag, MG, my guy Marcus Grant, but you would feel a little bad about. What are some of those products, if there is one? I
mean, the first thing that popped to mind was like a fast food place that I really don't like. I'm not from the Midwest, but like a White Castle, it's just trash, and I would feel bad about advertising that.
Look, man, you just got the Midwest mad at you, bro.
People who all my friends who eat at White Castle never talk about like eating at White Castle at like noon or 3:00. It's like, hey, I was hammered and I went to White Castle to sober up before I went home. I'm like, that's not an endorsement for your burger. That's terrible. But the other thing that I would probably feel a little bad about, at least at this stage of my life, because I feel like I still have a lot of life left in me, would be like adult undergarments or something like that. Right? Like if I'm just like on a billboard, like smiling and it says Depends next to me, like I'm going to feel a little bit icky about that. Like, the money.
But you're still cashing that check though.
The money still spins the same. Like that's fine. But yeah, I would probably I would not drive down the street if I knew the billboard was there. I'd find another way around or something.
See, the thing for me is like, I'm such a fat ass that I love all these foods that like, I wouldn't feel bad about anything. It's like Oreo, you want to give me that check? Cool. Like Twinkies, I know it's bad. Like, here's the thing, like, I know it's bad for you. I don't care. Like, I'm a fat ass. I still eat this stuff, like.
Have you had a Twinkie
not a ton
lately?
of it. I've had a Twinkie in the last 6 months. I don't know if that counts as lately.
That's way more. No, I mean, it's been years for me, but like I went a long time. Like I had them as a kid, and then I stopped eating them, and then I went back and had one, maybe 5-6 years ago, and I'm like, this is sickeningly sweet. Like, how did I eat this?
How did I eat multiple?
How did I eat multiple? Like this
I know.
is like disgustingly sweet.
You know what's like that, and but I still love them to death. Are all these little Debbie snacks? Like the oatmeal pies,
right.
And like all those little Debbie things. Like, anyways, I'm a total fat kid at heart, man. So like for me, I'd eat them all. I would take the bag on all of them, and I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't care. I'm trying to think of a brand that and this isn't even like endorsements, but like the only thing I can think of is like Fox News. That's it.
Yeah.
Like if Fox News, like, all right, and now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, let's say they were like, hey, Co, we'll give you $5 million a year. Would I sign that? Would I sign that deal?
I mean, because then you could like move away from people who would judge you. You could get a house with like fences and gates and like seal yourself off from the people who would, look down upon you for that.
Now, no, man.
At $5 million a year, you don't need to go on the internet. You don't need to go on Twitter if you make $5 million. What? Why? What's for you on Twitter if you're making $5 million a year and you're making smart investments? Like you have no reason to be on social media. Just whatever. Just take your direct deposit and go.
That's very true.
I mean, you feel bad about it, but then you just take a vacation and think about something else.
You feel bad about it, and then you start spending that money, and you feel a lot better.
Right, like man, I felt bad, and then I hopped on a plane to Jamaica, and I feel less bad now.
And now I am chilling. Actually, that's a great question. We're obviously in the sports talk business, and a lot of folks have asked me like, what would it cost, for you to be like Skip, like, and just kind of like be this whole hot take artist, and it's like funny too, because like I think like most people in the know MG like know that it's an act,
Right.
And like, I don't even get mad about what Skip says because I kind of sort of like use that like pro wrestling like lens.
The whole kayfabe thing, right? Like,
yeah, right. Like we know it's like a gimmick to like for him to like hate on LeBron or whatever, like, or at least like a lot of people do, and yet people get so mad at him for it. But I guess like what would it cost? What would it take for MG to just completely sell out and like be Skip? Because I forgot what Skip gets paid, but it's probably north of $5 million.
yeah. I mean, it would be north of 5 million, I think. What am I saying? I'd probably do it at like 5 million. What am I saying? Yeah. I mean,
I might do it for less.
I would probably do it. I would probably do it for less. But if we're starting at 5, then like, yeah.
I think I'd do it for less, man.
I probably would do it for less. Feel like,
I mean, here's the thing. Like, if they were like, all right, we'll give you like $1 million and we'll sign you to a 5-year deal. So like 100% for sure, I'm cashing $5 million. Like, I don't know. I kind of sort of think I would do that.
Yeah.
Like, and like, here's the thing. It's not like you're being Ben Shapiro out here. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, you're talking about freaking LeBron and like Aaron. Who cares?
There are people. There are people doing it for way less. There are people doing
way less,
doing way more for way less. So once upon a time, I was a radio producer for a national radio network, and one of our hosts, whenever he just wanted to stir up trouble and just generate phone calls, he would come on the air and start a show and say something like Alabama is going to lose, but it's like somebody ridiculous. It wouldn't be like Alabama's going to lose to LSU. It's like Coastal Carolina's on the schedule. There's no way Saban in the tie. And the phones would light up. And I'm like, are you serious? He does this once a week. He does this once a week. And once a week, all you same people call angry. Like, how? How does this happen?
I mean, like, that's the thing, too. And like, that's what I kind of sort of like, I'm like, that's why I would take less. I would take way less to do it. Because, like, at the end of the day, it's like, if I say Alabama sucks, it's like, who's that hurting?
There's no real world impact on that.
Who's that hurting? That's hurting no one, right? Like if I say LeBron's maybe like the 10th best player in the NBA, like who's that hurting? Like if I'm sitting here telling you Kevin Durant is the worst team player in the history of the NBA, like that impacts no one. You know, it impacts absolutely no one. The only person it impacts is Kevin Durant. You know, who I'm sure it will create a burner account to let me know that that's a bad take or whatever.
I think he stopped doing the burner. I think he just comes straight at you now, like as Kevin Durant.
Yeah, no, he does, which is just, by the way, it's just so baffling. You know, it's like, bro, why do you care? Like there are some athletes where you're like, the petty version of that athlete is the better version. Like,
right.
I kind of sort of like Petty Brady. Like Petty Brady's kind of cool, you know, like it adds a little character, a little flavor to white bread Tom Brady. But Kevin Durant, Petty Durant's not a good Durant. And I want to like Durant. Like, I really want to like Durant. I love his game. But golly, Twitter finger Durant is not the good Durant. You know what I mean?
Every now and then, though, he has some gems. Like, you know,
he does.
He has some gems every once in a while, man. Like, you know, maybe not hitting on the same levels he's hitting from 3, but, you know, the percentage is pretty good.
That's true. No, that's very true. All right. Final topic. And by the way, I want to say what's up to the chat. Very alive today, which is great. We got Dick Hampa in there, Clark Schuyler in there, JB Cho, my boy, he's in there. You know, doing his thing. What else we got? Fantasy Football Hustler always coming through with that support. And you know what? I see you, Ray Preventure, man. We've done some fantasy leagues together. I know you've been a fan of both MG and myself for many, many years. So he's saying it's for the first time he's able to kind of watch this show live from where he is at across the Atlantic. So want to say welcome to you. But yeah, everyone in the chat, hello and what's going on. But final question for you, MG, and I'll throw this out to the chats as well. We got 3 hot sauces. I want you to rank them. Frank's Red Hot, Cholula, Tabasco. Rank them.
Full disclosure, I've never had Frank's.
Oh no!
But,
okay, well we'll throw a different one in there. What do you got? What you got? Tapatio?
Tapatio. right?
Tapatio, Cholula, Tabasco.
Well, it goes
spoken like a true Californian.
Like definitely like a dude who's lived in Los Angeles for 20 plus years now, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I will go Cholula number 1, Tapatio number 2, and Tabasco 3rd.
Tabasco 3rd.
Maybe it's because Tabasco is just like, it's everywhere. It's a little played out now, right? It's whoop, there it is, right? It's like, okay, yeah, I've heard it. Thanks. Like Tabasco, right? Like maybe that's what it is. Like maybe I'm just Tabascoed out. And I still
You've had too much Tabasco that Tabasco is going to end up in some kind of Geico commercial.
Right, it's going to be selling me insurance soon. Yes, exactly. So yeah, Cholula's 1, Tapatio is 2, and Tabasco's 3.
I do like Cholula. I'm going to go Frank's Red Hot number 1. I feel like it's a more of a Midwest brand. I don't know. I might be speaking out of turn because.
Oh no, I mean I see it in the stores.
I'm a coastal guy.
Buy it. Like I just have never bought it.
You need to buy it. Honestly,
Okay.
You need to buy it. And the reason I say that is I've got an old saying. People say, "Oh, it goes together like peanut butter and jelly." For me, it goes together like hot sauce and fried chicken. Again, I'm a fat guy. Like I like fried chicken. I like it a lot.
I appreciate that.
And the thing that I find that really takes fried chicken to the next level is if you douse it with a little bit of hot sauce. But in particular, now you could throw the Tabasco on there, you could throw the Cholula or Tapatio on there, whatever your flavor is. But man, Frank's Red Hot with some fried chicken.
Hey, look, I just want to state I have nothing against Frank's Red Hot. I just have never had it. Like I'm not
there you go.
avoiding it or boycotting it. I just have never had it. That's
all. So the guys are chiming in here. Chipotle Tabasco. Oh, Chipotle Tabasco at Chipotle. That's not bad.
It's not the same.
No.
One?
It's a Chipotle flavored Tabasco hot sauce. I have had that. That is actually very good.
Okay.
It is very confusing though because they sell this Chipotle flavored Tabasco at a restaurant called Chipotle, so that gets a little right. Anyways, but Richard Campo coming in with Tapatio Cholula Tabasco.
So now, how deep are you in these hot sauce streets?
I'm not that. I'm into the mainstream.
Like you don't have like anything
I don't go
with donkeys on it or anything like that.
No. I don't do the whole like I don't like if they're starting to bust out the Scoville scale, I'm probably not. That's not for me. Like I like hot, I like spicy. I'm not a crazy person about it.
No, I mean I know people who like they would go, like they were on vacation, they go to those little tourist shops, and they try to find like the hottest sauces they can find, stuff with like roosters and donkeys and like vampire bats on the front of it and stuff. And I'm like, that's all you. But shout out to you, James Coe. Like flashback to you having to eat a hot chip on live television back in your fantasy live days, and you powering through that last segment of the show like a champ. Despite your insides being on fire, you didn't cry. I
was there. Like I felt like my body was there. My body was there. I kind of like had an existential crisis, like my soul left my body and was looking at me like, why are you doing this on live TV?
You didn't cry.
I was
feel
there.
like I didn't cry. That's a win. That's a win.
I've said this before, but you bring it up again. But doing that one chip challenge, it's not just the pain of it in that moment, right? It's the pain of it throughout the day because I'm trying to drink chocolate milk with it. So the rest of the day, I'm gassing up hot chip and chocolate milk gas up. You know what I'm saying? Like that stays with you the rest of the day. Like that's what sucks. You know what I mean? It's extremely painful in the moment. It burns. Like it burns your mouth, it burns your throat, it burns your insides as it's going down. You're just like, I'm on fire. This sucks. Humans are not supposed to do this. Why am I doing this? But then 5 freaking hours later, it's It's not pleasant.
Oh,
it is not
man.
pleasant. That was that was the worst part. Anyways, we appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. And MG, once again, I appreciate you stepping up and stepping into the show. Could not do the show without you. And it was great talking with you, man. Yet again, I love
Absolutely. Always love coming out of the bullpen whenever I'm called.
Well, listen, pal. There will be many phone calls in the future. That is for sure. But before we go, want to say, are you guys downloading the NFL Fantasy Podcast with Marcus Grant? If you're not,
Please.
what are you doing?
Please.
Marcus Grant, can we pump this up a little bit?
Absolutely. No, it's the NFL Fantasy Football Show, wherever you download fine podcasts and even not so fine podcasts, all those places. So check that out. Also, I guess I have been pushed to tell you to follow our YouTube channel, NFL Fantasy Football. You can also follow mine at Marcus G. But
hey, what do you got over there?
You know what? I'm doing I do weird, goofy things that are mostly only for my own benefit. So I've been doing this. Seriously, I do it because it's fun and it's something that distracts me during the off season. But I've been doing this thing called the show to be named later. So it's like 5 episodes in. It is a mixture of just weird things from the internet and a lot of flashback things that people of a certain age might remember better than others. So
I like it.
They're short. They're 5 minutes. Go check them out.
I am going to go check it out. Actually, I didn't know that was happening, but I need to know, and I need that in my life. All right, cool. All right. So for Marcus Grant, I am James Coe. If you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please be a pal, like and subscribe, share this with people, let people know we got some pretty dope content coming out here on the YouTube channel and would love for people to know about it. Anyways, for MG, I'm James Coe. We'll see you next week.